Thanks so much for tuning in to Set Apart. This is a podcast that was designed to lock arms and figure out this pivotal season we call young adulthood with other ordinary teens and young adults who desire to be set apart with Jesus rather than conform to the world. So with that, relax and enjoy this episode of Set Apart. Yo, what is up, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode. I'm here with Luan today. Today we are solo dolo.
Yes, sir.
We don't have a guest on, but man, the Spirit is leading us, man. So we're so excited for what God is going to do today. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. But also, I just want to thank you guys for the love that you've been showing on our posts, on our Instagram, on our YouTube, on our Spotify. Thank you so much for just the comments and the shares and just the text messages that we've gotten. We appreciate it so much, and you guys really don't understand how much of an encouragement that is. So just thank God so much for you guys, and that's awesome. You really don't have to listen, so the fact that you do just means a lot to us, and so we thank you for that for sure.
Yeah, we just we appreciate you guys. You know, at the end of the day, like, it's not like we care about numbers. We just kind of recognize that every single person that tunes in, like, that's a life that we're kind of having the impact over. So we appreciate that. We thank you guys for joining us here again. And today, yeah, man, like Zhane was saying, today's a good day. It's just us here. We're going to talk about certain things, and it's cool that it's just the two of us because the topic of discussion today has everything to do with us and how we actually came to do this podcast. So I'm excited. Let's do it.
For sure. And so just specifically, just kind of to let you all know what God has been putting on our heart, what the Holy Spirit has been wanting us to talk about this day.
Yep.
We want to dive into friends and peers, especially at this time in our life, and what that really means, what that looks like, because, man, besides following Jesus and I mean, I guess you could say your spouse, but we're not exactly in that phase yet.
One day.
Yeah.
Please God.
That friends are by far the most important decision that you can make in your life, because, you know, it's not just like friends can decide, you know, like how you act. It's you know, where you end up, you know, your career, certain things like that, just your personality as a whole. So we'll be deep diving into a lot of those little specific topics today. We're so excited, man, and I'm really passionate about this topic. I know Luan is too. So yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And that's really like what we kind of want to do, because like at the end of the day, like, we understand the importance of friendship. Like I said, and we've been saying this over and over. You know, like the previous episodes, there have been two, but that's okay. Just like the reason why we are able to come here and talk is because, dude, like, friendship and like our friendship is really what came and created this podcast. It came from a place of I guess intimacy with one another, and I think it's something that a lot of people kind of twist sometimes. Because, like, it's weird for it to be in a place where guys are okay with being, like, intimate and, like, transparent and, like, honest with other guys.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, again, it's the reason why we do this, and it's the reason why we want to talk about this topic today, because we value that, and we understand the influence that friends can have in our lives. And, dude, it's a big deal. It's important to address and stuff. So
yeah, let's go. So first, to kind of start off, we just want to start off with just a little bit of nostalgia. And so I guess question for Luan, and we'll kind of go back and forth on this, but what are like some core early and nostalgic memories you have with like your friends growing up as like a kid?
Man, that's hard. I mean, I did a lot of things growing up for the people that know and the people that don't. I grew up in Brazil. Yeah. I was born there, lived there until I was like 12-ish. So like a lot of my memories have to do with that, like going to the beach and playing soccer. Like, that's the most Brazilian thing to say. But like that's one of the things that we did a lot. And one of the core memories that I have was just that, like, the times that we would go after like school, which is funny because like I went to a school in Brazil, I had English classes when I was about from 10 to 12, I would say, for like a long time, which is like, I think it was the Lord really preparing me to come to the U.S. But we would leave that, and sometimes I would not go or just skip. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this, but I did that sometimes. Dang. And I would go to play soccer at this place It was at the beach. It was like the boardwalk kind of thing, and it was at the.
she at home right now, like Luan, Souza.
Yeah. So then, and we had like an area that we played, and it was by this like public bathroom. And we'd play every day there, and we did so much stuff. We played for such a long time until the owner and like the supervisor of the bathroom thing, whatever.
Karen.
We disliked her a lot. So she wrote like a big sign saying that like we were not permitted to play soccer there anymore, and like it sucked. But then the cops came one day and we spoke to them like, hey, like what's going on here? And then he was like, no, it's all good. You guys can just play. That's not really a law. So that was a big thing, man. Like soccer there, like after class and sleepovers. And I think just like hanging out with people, like it's kind of sad because after I moved to the U.S., like a lot of those friendships were lost, I would say. Yeah, but I can say that like all those moments were like really affected me a lot. Like I can still see things that those friendships kind of have shaped some things that I do now, like shaped the way that I think and all that kind of stuff. But I think just like being stupid and like being guys like at the beach and stuff, like those are core memories that I carry with me like very dearly. And yeah, some people there really changed my life, I would say. Yeah. Dope, so they're a Brazilian thing, but that's what we did. What about you?
Coming straight out of Rio.
Not Rio. It's okay. Close.
Man, for me, so I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but then I moved to Florida when I was like really young. And so I'm a Florida boy. That's just kind of what I classify as. Georgia's, the motherland, whatever you want to call it, but definitely a Florida boy. So I grew up in the suburbs in Florida, and man, my street had the best friends ever. Just like I can still remember all their names, like Brooke, Nathan, Grushin, Vishalin, Siobhan. But I specifically want to point out my friends that were in this Indian household down the road. They had the sweetest parents of all time. They were Hindus, so they believe in Hinduism and in Vishnu. And anyway, so we would like me and my brother Zachary, we would always go down there and we would just knock on their door like, are they home, blah blah blah. And at the time, like it's kind of beautiful. Like at the time, we had no idea like how religion is, can separate people at times and stuff. And so it was just like this beautiful picture of kids that like these Christian kids and then these Hindu kids who really, it's kind of the opposite faith when you think about it. Like it's just complete different. Like everything is opposite faith. And man, we would play dodgeball, like on their driveway. I remember like we had to be careful that we didn't hit like the garage door because it would make like the like loud. And then their dad would come out and you'd be like, hey, quiet down. It's just so funny, man. But they were the sweetest people, man. Like they would invite me and my brother into their house to like, and they would make us food, and we would see their setups for, like for their gods and like their prayer mats and just like all these kinds of things. And I just remember like seeing this completely different like culture and religion on my street, and I was like, yo, this is like kind of cool. And I remember I actually used to like talk to my friend Vishalin about like Jesus and stuff, and I remember like I basically just like presented the gospel to him when I was like 7 years old. That's in my house or something, and it was so dope, man. So I just remember that, and just like all the people on the street like just teaching each other how to like skateboard and cops and robbers and all that kind of stuff, man. So it was the best, man. Every single back in Florida, we moved from there, but we still live kind of close. So every once in a while, I'll like just take a trip back to the old neighborhood and just drive around.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
And so kind of just like going from that, I'm just curious, what specific things, Luan, have you learned like from your childhood friendships? And like, it doesn't have to be like a I learned to like love God and love people, what I mean? Like, bro,
sure.
what are you talking about? Like you're a kid, you know what I mean? But yeah, just like those specific things that you definitely took from there.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Like there are a lot of things. Like when I was a kid, like I grew up in, I would say, in a Christian household in many ways. I went to church like from a very young age and stuff. But like I gotta say that like most of my friends growing up, like it wasn't really I would say, a biblically based friendship. I don't even know if that's a term, but we're making it a term if it's not. And like just that, like the times that we had, like the fun that we had, and it's cool. Like now I'm able to look back and see, and that's something that like I learned over the years, which was like with the influence of my pastor, Pastor Andre. If you're listening to this, I love you. Because like a lot of times I feel like as Christians and like believers, we think that God is only present in like church settings, or if we're having like a worship night, or if you're reading your Bible and all that kind of stuff. And I can say that like even though I was not necessarily having like biblical conversations, we're not praying for one another, we're not like doing things that would be deemed as like Christian things. I'm not saying like drugs or anything like that. I'm just saying like we're just boys hanging out having fun. And dude, like it's crazy to think that like the Lord is present in those moments.
Right.
And I can look back and be like, dude, we're having fun. Like that's holy.
Yeah.
Like the act of like being with each other and like enjoying each other and having fun and laughing and joking around and all those things. Like, dude, that's a beautiful thing.
It's a common grace.
Yeah. It's really awesome. And I can look back and like, dude, that was dope.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, like I could genuinely look back and see that like the Lord was working in ways there. Like I like now looking back and see like, yeah, God was present.
Right.
Although we're not maybe talking about him, but I just know because like, again, I believed in God and all that kind of stuff. And most of my friends did as well, but not necessarily were those moments any less holy just because we're not in the church.
Right.
That was super cool. And I think that's something that, even now it's something that I really try to cherish and try to value and to recognize that like, yeah, I don't need to be preaching to you all the time for us to be like in the presence of God. Like, let's just be like stupid and like talk about stuff and like watch a movie and whatever. And the Lord can still be present there. And also like it has to do with like the people that you hang out with in terms of, like, obviously there are some people that like, it's not going to be holy. They're going to be they're going to want to talk about certain things that, you know, it's not going to glorify God, but like anything that's pure in nature can honor God. Yeah. So I think that was pretty cool. It's something that like I really cherish. It's something that I really value. And yeah, I think that's something I learned in a way. What about you?
Yeah, man, that's good. I would say for me, the main thing that I took away would probably be to never lose the kid in you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so, you know, like maturity is different. Like obviously I can't be going around and, you know, picking my nose and crying when I get mad or, you know, anyways. But what I mean by that is kind of just like those memories and like all those great memories, all those like great times, like they came out of like curiosity, like wanting to be friends with people, and just like having like fun, you know what I mean? And I think like as people, like, and as Christians, like we should never lose like that kid in us that's like, hey, what's your name? You know what I mean? Like, let's go, you know, like, you want to be my friend? Like, let's go, like, do something, whatever. And like, you know, bringing that, you know, appropriately into the stance of like, you know, now we're adults and stuff, like we can still 100% do those things. And like, you know, we may not go and, you know, play dodgeball in the driveways anymore, but we might go and do something else. Like we might go and, I don't know, go to Target together. Like, you know, let's get our groceries together. Let's chill out. Let's, you know, let's just build a relationship together. And I think like, man, it is so beautiful when you just see kids, like when you see kids in that way of just like, they're just so happy to know one another. Like they don't see no skin color. They don't see no beliefs. They don't see like, it is like
just so pure.
Right.
I think that's the word.
Right. Yeah. Pure. It's just, and so, yeah, just never losing that curiosity and that, and this desire to just like, to just know people, man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I think it's crazy. Like, obviously, like the Bible talks about it, like being childlike and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's crazy, like how that whole purity and like that innocence of a child, like plays out even in our like walks with the Lord. I feel like a lot of times when we're getting older, like we mature and stuff, we lose sight of that, like, kid-like wonder that we have. Like a lot of times we get so used to things. I feel like we get so used to going to church and hearing the word and like singing in worship and all that kind of stuff, but then we just miss like that purity and that like just that moment of just like being there, like being so like yeah, like I don't know everything. Like, yeah, like what if I was just like to come before the Lord like a child?
Yeah.
I don't mean like being foolish or acting like stupid, I would say.
Right.
But I just mean like coming with a sense of like wonder, a sense of like, I would even say like expectation, not necessarily like, oh, what is the Lord going to do for me? But like, dude, God is so infinite. He's so big.
Yeah.
We're never going to be fully able to know him fully. I think I used fully twice, but that's okay. But like coming before him with that mindset, like a child has, like children are the funniest thing. Like they would come up to you and just like ask you things like, "Hey, have you seen my little car? Like I have a little Hot Wheels that I just got. Like you want to see it? Like you want to see this drawing? Like it's so ugly if you really stop and look
Why
at it."
your nose so big?
Like right, like children are so pure. They're so like innocent. It's so beautiful
and brutal.
Right, they'll do it. Yeah, they'll roast you. It's kind of funny. But that's the thing. Like even then, like it's so innocent. It's so pure. And I think a lot of times like that's what really the Lord wants from us. Like to be able to come before Him as like children, and in terms of like, we don't need to know everything. We don't need to like even understand things. And sometimes we're gonna say things out of pocket because like that's what children do.
Right.
But just being able to recognize that, I think it's something really cool. I think it's something that we as believers should try to live out. And like I said, not being foolish, not being like childish,
Right.
but just having that childlike wonder. I think it's something that we lose so easily because of like frustrations and disappointments. And that like alters our trust in God. It's a whole mess.
Yeah, man.
So I think that's cool. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. And like, so kind of transitioning from, you know, we were kids once and we had our fun in our relationships, but, you know, now we're in college, you know, 20 and 21. So, you know, legally adults, but, you know, still got to figure out. But, so like now that we're adults, man, how like friends, they were impactful on us like back then, but now they're more like crucial.
Yeah.
Like when you get to college, man, like those first friends that you make are so important.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you make the first wrong friends, man, then you're going to be surrounded around their friends. And so like what is, especially as a young believer in Christ, like why is it, or not a believer, whether you're a believer or not, you know what I mean? Or whether you're a believer in a different faith, why is it so important to value and take our friendships that we make like so seriously, and like how just like impactful are those relationships on us, like really when time goes on, like how effective and how important is that really to us? Man,
I think that's crucial, honestly, like because it's very common for it to just be like, oh, pick your friends wisely and all that kind of stuff. Like it's something we say all the time. It's something we hear all the time. But that's really legit, and it's not just for the sake of you like picking the right people to hang out with. It's just because like at the end of the day, us as humans, we're very easily influenced by others, whether you want to or not. Like, and I think it's like when you're hanging out with people or when you're in the presence of people that do certain things, like naturally you're just going to be drawn to either do those same things or like to be influenced by their actions. I can say that, like I can even use like our own friendship as an example to that. So I see the way that you do certain things. For example, I see the way that you wake up in the morning and you read your Bible. That's something that you establish. That's your custom. That's something that you do, something that you devote yourself to.
Dang right.
Automatically, by you doing that, it pushes me to like be better.
Exactly.
It pushes me to do the same, or it pushes me to change things in my own personal walk with the Lord, for example, because of things that you do. So that could go both ways. I think that could go in terms of like, that's going to benefit me. But at the same time, let's say I'm a believer. I believe in Christ, like I serve the Lord. But if I'm constantly hanging out with people that their lifestyle is just like they go to parties, they drink, they smoke, though I know that I won't do those things because I'm not drawn to those things anymore, I guarantee that if I live with them and hang out with them constantly in the span of like, I don't know, like 3 months, my actions and my decisions, even the way that I think, are going to be changed because of the way that they act.
Bro, come on, bro. You can keep talking. I got to look up some scripture.
It's okay.
Bro.
So I think that's pretty cool. And another thing that I think is awesome that I heard, I think it was my pastor that said it, or it was my mom. I don't know. They've done some great stuff. But I think it was my pastor that said it. Yeah. Because a lot of times we hear the whole idea of like opposites attract. Yeah. And I think that's not true at all. Like, I think even like if you watch movies, that's something we hear constantly. Right. But what I do believe, and even like from experience, it's either like opposites not like don't attract, but like people who are alike, those people are attracted to one another. And I think that's really real in the way that you have friends.
Yeah.
I think we should all like take a step back and kind of stop and be like, yo, who are my friends? Who are those people that like I'm constantly hanging out with?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times the people that you do have a relationship with are reflections of you.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to think about.
Yeah. What you were just saying a little bit ago about like I can be a Christian and I cannot want to do these things, but over a span of time, like I'm gonna change if that's just who I'm with.
Right.
1 Corinthians 15:33.
Come on, give it to them.
Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals.
Yep.
Bro, I don't care how strong I am in my faith. Like, I don't care what kind of leadership position I get. I don't care how long I've, whatever. Forget about it.
Yeah.
If I have the wrong friends that, if they smoke, if they drink, if they cuss, if they watch porn, if they sleep around, if they go to parties, if they do whatever, I don't care. Put your favorite pastor with them, bro.
Yeah.
And just give it time. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. That, like, it's not a matter of, like, who the person is. It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
There is zero escape from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And the good news about that is you can switch that the opposite way.
Yeah.
So if you're a person that does do those things and you want to not do those things and you want to be set apart with Christ and have those kind of tendencies, well, then guess what? You hang around with people that are like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That are set apart, that have those good tendencies, that read their Bible, that don't cuss, that sharpen one another. Iron sharpens iron. And over time, guess what? Before you know it, you're like, wait, I changed. What just happened?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. And like a lot of people, which is funny that you say that, and like you even bring like scripture into it, because a lot of people are like, oh, but Jesus sat with the sinners and all those people that did like wrong stuff. But yeah, like he did. But at the same time, like although he sat with sinners and he ate with them and he hung out with them, he sat with them because he impacted them.
Yeah.
One, obviously, he was Jesus.
Right.
So, like, let's give him props to that because, yes, he was God. But at the same time, it's just like the reason why he did that was directly because he was changing their lives.
Yep.
He sat with them, and at the same time, yes, you can eat with me. You can come as you are, but you're not leaving this place the same way that you came in. And I think that's exactly what happens. I think we try to make excuses for ourselves because it's really comfortable for you to just be in the same friendships that you're in. It's really comfortable for you to be in the same circles that you've always been drawn into. But when you come into that perspective that like you notice that those people are changing your life, that's messed up. Yeah.
Right. And like what you were saying about like Jesus when he was hanging out, like Jesus hung out with prostitutes, with like tax collectors, which like modern day would be like whatever your Wall Street corrupt people. And man, like here's the thing, like people might say like, okay, well then why was Jesus hanging out with those people? Because he, he was going to change to their ways if he was hanging out with them. Here's the thing. As believers, we're called to be not of the world, but in the world. We're supposed to be in the world, just not of it. And so we can hang out with people that are different than us and that don't have those same morals for the sake of discipleship. But here's the thing. You have to know who is influencing who in that relationship.
That's good.
So if I see somebody, I notice somebody on campus or on my hall at Liberty, and I'm like, oh yeah, no man, they're not doing too good in their faith. I should probably step in and like hang out with them. Like let's go get food, bro. Join my friend group. Let's go play basketball. And you'll be like, well, dude, you can't be hanging out with them because they don't have the same. Calm down. Yeah. I understand who's influencing who. Yeah. And if I do recognize that he's starting to influence me more than more than I'm influencing him, then it's time to cut that off and maybe get somebody else to help. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that is just so important.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of times we try to rush into circles,
right?
Because we feel, and obviously we are called to go to the lost and reach them and preach the word, but only do that when you know for a fact that you're strong enough in your faith. Yeah. Because a lot of times we try to rush things, we try to rush processes just because we know that we're called to do certain things and we mess up the thing that we're working for.
Come on now.
Because a lot of times, like I said, we can be called to influence certain people, or we can be called to reach a group of lost guys or whatever it is. But if I don't have security in my own faith, I know for a fact that if I do it, I'm going to mess up. Yeah. And like we need to be careful, man. I think it's important for us to be real a little bit. Like, it's important for us as not just guys, but believers as a whole to know our own weaknesses.
Right.
Because a lot of times we play with fire so much. A lot of times we're like, yeah, I know that I'm supposed to help that guy out. He's struggling with pornography. But 2 weeks ago, you know dang well that you were doing the same thing.
Come on now.
So, like, if you know that that's something that you struggle with, if you know that that's something that kind of draws you into, like, sin or whatever, dude, don't do it. Like, just run away. Like, don't do it. Like, the passage in James that says, like, resist the devil and he will flee from you.
Right.
I was reading, I don't know if it was a book or if I watched a sermon on it, but somebody was saying, I actually think it was Tim Ross. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Could have been. He was saying something that, like, that same exact word that he says, like, resist.
Right.
Also could mean, like, flee.
Mm.
And, dude.
Yeah.
Legit.
Right.
Like, do it if you have to. Like, if you know that thing is going to mess you up, if you know
Right.
that thing is going to lead you into, like, sin and destruction, bro, run away.
Bro.
Don't play with it.
Bro, that's crazy.
What?
That's crazy. I'm literally looking at a scripture that
Come on.
specifically. All right. So we got Proverbs 4:23 here.
Good one.
Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. The music you listen to,
Yeah.
the people you hang out with, the thoughts that you have,
Yeah.
the places you go,
Yeah.
the words that you say, like everything. If it's coming out, like if it's an action that you are doing,
Yeah.
it's a product of what you are putting in you.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I don't care how much you disagree
Yeah.
with that. That's not even like just spiritual. That's like
Yeah.
that is science,
Yeah.
man. Like what like the synapses and the pathways that you create in your brain. Like if you walk into your dorm room or you walk into your room at home or whatever it is, and your natural tendency
Mm-hmm.
is to fall into the same sin that you always fall into.
Yeah.
Well, then guess what? If you try and stop stop doing that for a week, your brain is naturally going to keep thinking that, like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do this. Let's go back to our
Yeah.
old ways. But until you stop doing that and you start replacing, here's the thing.
Come on. Yeah.
Let's relate it to like a diet real quick, right? So let's say you're trying to lose weight and you want to, you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to become more healthy. So what you do is you just stop eating junk food. But if you just stop eating junk food and you don't eat anything, what are you going to do? You're going to die, right?
Right.
So what do you have to do? You have to just not only
Yeah.
stop eating junk food, you have to replace that with better food.
For sure.
And it's the same way spiritually or psychologically, however you prefer thinking of this. This is like a concept from God that is so real.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to stop falling into my same sin pattern, sure, I need to stop doing that. I need to get help. I need to go to counseling. I need to talk to people. I need to confess this. But at the same time, I need to replace it. Okay, so instead of doing this, what are we going to do instead? We're going to, instead of spending my Wednesday nights in my dorm room, let's go to campus community tonight.
Right.
Let's go to a youth group. Let's go hang out with the boys outside off campus
Mm-hmm.
in a way that's going to be honorable to God. And you keep doing that. It's like a GPS. When you
Yeah.
put a map in your GPS, your destination, like it automatically takes you to where you're usually going to. But over time, if you keep going to a different place, it's going to be like, oh, okay, we're going here. Let's go there.
Yeah.
It's math, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's legit. And it's crazy because, like, a lot of times we think that even when it comes to sin, like, first thing I want to say is, like, us as Christians, especially nowadays, we play with sin too lightly.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, like, I think we just see and understand, like, yeah, God is good. Like, Jesus, has given us grace and mercy. Like, he forgives. Yes, he does. But we play with sin to the point that we don't consider it as bad as it actually is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think we just think of, like, oh, dang, I sinned. Or, oh, dang, like, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, that just doesn't make sense. And what I really mean by that is, like, a lot of times, for example, let's just pick, for example, somebody had sex with their girlfriend.
Right.
Whatever it is. And, like, a lot of times, like, dude, it just happened. I just had sex with my girlfriend.
Right.
Bro, there's no such thing
You don't just,
as
like-
right. I was like, yeah, I was just walking around.
Next thing I know.
Right. Like, it doesn't exist. And I think that comes with, like you were saying, like, the practices that we have to implement. Because, like, the way that sin is, like, conceived
Right.
is because I think James talks about it. Let me see. James, that would be James 1. It says, yeah, there you go. I pulled out the Bible. I wasn't expecting it.
Talk to him.
And it says, okay, when tempted, and one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone else. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed.
Right.
Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death.
Yep.
All right. And that's usually what happens, because like we just think that sin just happened in our lives, but the reason why sin exists is because you let the devil actually start with small habits in your life. And like it all starts with the thought, with a thought. There you go. I wrote down like a little note. It says like thought leads to desire, and desire leads to sin, and sin leads to death.
Yep.
And like I said, everything starts with small practices. Like I think we should stop and think of like the things that we do in our lives that leads us into sin.
Right.
And analyze it. And a lot of times, like we're talking about today, which just happens to be like friendships, that starts with the people that you hang out with.
Right.
That starts with the people that you let influence your life.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's pretty crazy, because like I can see in my life certain things that I do now, like not necessarily just sin, but like let's say I just struggle like waking up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a thing.
Yep.
The reason why I'm struggling to wake up in the morning and be productive in my classes is because I'm not doing certain things that I should do.
Right.
That would make me sleep early, wake up early, and do everything else that I got to do.
Yep.
And that goes both ways. That goes for good things and it goes for bad things. So I think we just have to start implementing healthy practices that would not let us go into like death, like James says here. So
I know we're kind of getting off on a little tangent here, but like the power of like our habits, man. It's it's like, oh, why am I like never I can't get my homework done. I feel like I always have so much to do. Okay, well, let's look back at what you did today. When you got out of bed, did you like end up making your bed?
Right.
Were you like productive from the moment you got up, or no? Okay, well, did you lay in bed? Did you hit the snooze 3 times? All right. Well, once you got out of bed, did you kind of just like sit around on your phone for a while and just take in whatever culture has to trash into your life today? And then did you eat a good breakfast, or did you just like throw down a thing of coffee and head out? And then like, have you been praying? Are your thought patterns right? Or, like, did you take care of your clothes? Like, when you got up, did you just throw on some wrinkly clothes? Like, I'm telling you, like, it's these things, like, when you get these things in line, you're like, whoa, it's almost like and I'm not telling you this is like some formula, like you got to wrinkle your clothes to like get work done. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that your patterns, like, they have results. They have results, and it's hard because at first, like, you don't see it. You don't see the results. You're just seeing, like, oh, this is hard. This is boring. I don't like it. Blah blah. But I'm telling you, man, when you start to see those results, man, oh my gosh, the difference is real.
And it's all about starting, man. I think like
there you go.
Just want to like kind of open up that like a little space here to say, obviously we're not just coming out here and like bashing everybody, saying that we have everything figured out. But dude, these are things that we're trying to do.
These are all things that I'm preaching to myself.
Right.
All those things I just talked about, literally every single one of those things I just talked about at a point in time, maybe like closer, more recent than I would like to admit.
Right.
Like, I struggle with, man. Like, I'm not saying these things so that you, like, I'm some kind of like, come and listen to me. I'm the wise man. Blah blah blah.
Right.
from the first episode, we said like, bro, we don't know what we're doing either. We're figuring this out together. Right. But we just happen to be the ones with the mics. You know what I mean? So we just want to be the friends that you want to have in your life. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be those people that you wish you would have had, and like the people that I wish I would have had when I was like a year back, 2 years back. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we are not perfect in any way possible.
And that's like I was saying earlier. And like, obviously I'm not just saying this just to like glorify Zhane or anything like that, because he's awesome. Though he is. But I genuinely mean that because like I can say of like, dude, you need to find people in your life that push you to be better. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to be surrounded with people that make you better. Because if you're not, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Yep. It's bad. Like, if you look around you and you see, though this could sound kind of bad, but like if you look around your friends and all you see are people that you're better than, and what I mean by that is like people that like don't have their lives figured out, that like are only doing like crap or whatever, that they don't know what to do, like their life is like a mess, and you're the one that seems to have like the things like the most figured out of all of them. Find better friends, right? Because if you're not hanging out with people that push you to be better, dude, do it. Like I said earlier, and I really mean that, I've said that to him multiple times, but like the thing that I really appreciate about Zhane and like the fact that I'm doing the podcast with him is because he is one of those people. He is a guy that pushes me to be better because it just happens. Because I see the way that he does things. I see the way that he lives his life. Again, Not that he's perfect or that I'm perfect or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but because the way that he tries to be better pushes me to be better, and I think that's something that everybody should achieve. Everybody should go for.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just gonna second that. Like, it is so important that, like, I just know that God specifically put like Luan into my life this semester for specific reasons. Some that I know, some that I'm not even aware of yet. But just having somebody that is like so spiritually mature. And here's the thing: they don't even need to be at like this certain point for you to like be their friend. But they need to be running in the right direction at least. Man. They can be at the rock bottom, but as long as they're climbing up, like, let's work with each other. Like, let's do this. I can disciple you, somebody can disciple me, and like, let's just do this together. Like, we are like, I'm like, no man is left behind. Like, I'm going to help as many people as I can, but not at the sake of, like, I'm taking on everybody's problems and I'm discipling everybody so that I can't, you know what I mean? Like, there's limits to it, and you got to figure out that balance. But you at least need to have people that are going in the right direction, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's what really matters. It's the mindset that I want to get better. And so people that have that open mindset, no matter where they are, like, if you call them out, they're in the right mindset that they want to go in the right direction, so they'll take that. You know what I mean? But yeah.
And that's something that we even spoke about on our last episode. Shout out JJ. That he said something that was dope. Also, just opening a little side note. If you guys haven't listened to it yet, do it. It's great. It's a great song.
I believe we put the link to his music in our video.
Yes, sir.
Dropping.
So you should check that out because it's actually really good.
17.
But anyways, and he said something that was dope. And I even wrote it down. He said, you can't have fans as friends. And that's good, because if you constantly hang around people that all they do is just like praise you and say how great you are, and they are like slow to point out your mistakes, I don't know if they're your friends.
Right.
I'm not saying for you to only hang out with people that are constantly bashing you, constantly pointing out your mistakes, your faults and stuff, because there has to be a balance to it. But if like you're never called out on anything,
right,
if you're never kind of like in an awkward situation with them, I think that's a little weird.
Right.
Because like parts of like growing involve pain. And like if you really want to grow with somebody, there's going to be some friction there. There's going to be some conflict here. So that's good. I liked it. Again, shout out JJ. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. Gosh. This is a good one, man. This is good, man. I'm feeling it, man. The spirit's going crazy.
It's good.
Right,
I like it. It's going good.
But just kind of going off topic a little bit, but we're still staying on that the road of, friends and peers. It is so important that we have friends around us that okay, let me put it this way. Friends shape the way that we view ourselves, right? And so, well, how does that happen? Friends can shape the way that we view ourselves, because if I'm hanging out with people that are always super lazy, if I'm hanging out with dudes that are some playboy Hugh Hefners trying to get every girl they can, I'm gonna think I'm some kind of playboy. Right? If I'm around, and here's the thing, man, I really, part of me right now is like wishing that we had a girl on, so that she could speak into the lives of women. And we'll do a little bit of that, but you know what I mean. We wouldn't have women specifically for that. But anyways, like for girls, right?
Yeah.
If you are hanging around girls who are constantly dressing super immodestly, like no ifs, ands, or buts. There probably will be buts if they're dressing immodestly. But if you're constantly around those girls, like, you're going to be like, yes, girl, slay, and then you're gonna start dressing like before you know it, you're like, okay, wait, I'm changing, and this is not good. And man, like, Luan, you kind of you definitely like kind of know about this, but I just want you to specifically answer, like, in what ways do you think that friends shape our self-image, like, and not just the way that we see ourselves, like physically, the way that we like act out, but like the way that we really like think, and our values and our those kind of things.
I mean, it has to do with like what we were talking about before. Like when we're hanging out with people, automatically, like your thoughts, your views are going to be shaped into what's like a common ground within the group. So I think it's like, especially in terms like you're saying, like how we view ourselves. I think it's a big deal because like if you're constantly with people that like they have a low self-image, constantly or consequentially, you're gonna have the same view.
That's hard, man.
Because what happens is like, if constantly what you hear is them like bashing themselves or like, yeah, I don't really care about my life, dude. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. Like I'm just here to like do whatever I want. Like I don't really care. Like I just want to go and get drunk or whatever. I just want to do this thing. Yeah, I just want to like have a good time. I'm just gonna like sleep, go to sleep super late, wake up late, miss class or whatever. Like what that's kind of telling you as a person, I think we should be careful with it, is that like those practices really point to somebody that doesn't really care about their lives.
Right. And you're okay with that.
Right. Because, like, if you're living your life to an extent that's not excellent, and I don't mean, like, perfect, because I think as Christians, especially as Christians, we're called to live in excellence, and that's a big deal. I think it's, like, in every area. So, like, if you're, like, late to class constantly, if you're going to sleep super late, if you're doing all these things, that's really, like, pretty much degrading the view that you have. Because, like, I feel like the way that you do certain things, it's just like, for example, like I said earlier, if you're constantly doing things that harm you, that harms the way that you see things, or harms your job, it harms your schoolwork, that's because you don't respect yourself.
Right.
Because, like, if you don't respect yourself to the point that you can't change those things automatically, if you, another person now, are hanging out with those people, you're going to start feeling and thinking this way.
Come on, bro.
Because if those people don't care about them, like, well, if they don't care about themselves, why should I care about myself? If they think it's okay for them to just go to bars and drink and get drunk and go with whatever, like whoever they want to, I think it's okay for me to do the same. And that has to do with the view of yourself. The same way, I don't know if he spoke about this on an episode or if it was just like one of our talks, but we were talking about like pride and how like having a high view of yourself is bad. Right. It's pride. But having a low view of yourself is just as bad. And a lot of times we think it's like okay for you to do that. But that also translates in a way that you do certain things in your life. And I think that we should be careful. Because if, like, the people that we're hanging out with have a low view of themselves, you're going to have the same. And it's a mess. I think it was a little, like, messy, but I hope it was able to be understood. No. Because, like, it's kind of hard to explain it.
It is. It's a loaded question, man.
Yeah.
But, like, what you were saying about people that, like, kind of don't have that high view of themselves, like, man, it can get, like, it can get depressing. You know what I mean? Like... Not that you lose your like your love for that person. Like, sure. I love this man. I want to care for them, and I feel so, you know, like I have sympathy for them. But man, like over time, like that can start to drag you down into that pit. You're like, why am I sad? It's because you're hanging out with your friend that's always sad, and they're always playing sad music, and they're always talking about sad things, and they always want to be by themselves. And but I think it's so important to remember like certain things. I'm just gonna read off some of these things real quick. That I'm alive with Christ, Ephesians 2:5. I'm a new creation, 2 Corinthians 5:17. I'm more than a conqueror, Romans 8:37. Yeah. I'm a member of Christ's body, 1 Corinthians 12:27. I am the righteousness of God, 2 Corinthians 5:21. I am God's masterpiece, Ephesians 2:10. Like if we start to really think about and value all these things, man, like there is no way you can go back to living that way. Yeah. Like, if we truly value these things and we want to implement this in our lives and also project those things onto others, man, like, you're dangerous to the devil, man. Yeah. Like, you are. Yeah. Like, your goal when you get up every day is to piss Satan off. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. Getting up every day is like, I'm gonna piss Satan off today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And man, just showing others that light and that love and but not allowing them to shape you. Like I said, like you have to know who's influencing who, so you have to be careful about it. And it takes practice, man. Like I've known this and I've still had relationships where I'm like, oh wait, they're influencing me right now. Like, why did I just say that word and blah blah blah? I'm like, wait, I need to hold on. Back I need to back away from this. You know what I mean? And that was at times where I was like strong in my faith. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, why did I just say that word? Okay, well, you know, that's my sign. Yeah. I'm not fit for this right now. Let me step away for a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's something that I know for a fact. This was something my pastor told me. That like there are 3 levels of people that you should have in your life. First one is somebody that's usually somebody that's older than you. Somebody that's like discipling you. Somebody that's kind of like helping you walk with the Lord. Right. Somebody that's giving you direction. Somebody that's that has authority over your life.
Right.
We need those people. Level 2 would be somebody that's walking with you, somebody that's running in the same direction, somebody that's facing the same things that you face, going through the same struggles that you do. But those people are not necessarily supposed to speak over your life, if it makes sense. I do think we're called to encourage one another. I do think that we're supposed to remind one another of the things that God has talked and said about us. I do believe that. But those people and the people that we're walking with, they should not be the authority over our lives.
Yeah.
Again, recognizing the authority that God has and that Jesus and the scriptures have over our lives. But we need people. Like, we're called to walk with people. So we need people that are older than us, that have the authority to say certain things about us. And then third level are people that we are discipling.
Right.
Those are like the Paul and Timothy relationships. People that we are, again, usually younger than us, maybe not as mature in the faith. Those are the people that we, by the grace of God, are able to disciple, are able to encourage, are able to speak over. And we need those people in our lives. And I think it's important for us to analyze, like, who are the people who are speaking over our lives? Who are the people that we're allowing to have authority over our lives? Like, what are the voices that we're letting influence the way that we think?
Right.
Are letting our minds be shifted and shaped by. And which is why, like, it's crazy when you see, like, Andrew Tate, like, being the guy. Like, everybody looks up to Andrew Tate.
The ball.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he's loud. He makes sense. He's successful. And, like, yeah, people want to have all those things that he has, which is great. There's nothing wrong with having money. But, like, look at the things that the guy is saying.
Right.
It's like, if you're letting people like that have influence over your life, do you really expect you to be, like, spiritually successful?
Right.
Do you really expect you to have your mental health, like, in a good place? Do you really expect your self-value, I would say, to be in a good place? So I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for us to, like, just be careful with the people that we let influence us, which is why, like, being selective is very important. It's the last thing I would say, and then you can go right ahead. Another thing that my pastor said is, like, we're called to love everybody.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, of course.
We should love every single person.
Yeah, man.
But we don't have to like everybody.
There you go.
And that's kind of mean to say.
And not everybody has to like us.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is, like, yes, you're supposed to love them, but you can love them from a distance. They're not good for you.
Right.
You can love them, and they don't have to be involved in your life. They're harmful.
Right.
They don't do anything good for you. So leave. Love them, bless them, pray for them, but don't let them influence you. Don't let them harm you. Don't let them affect you. So I think that's awesome. It's something that I carry in my heart because, like, it's hard, especially when, like, I'm involved in, like, ministry. Like, I want to be a pastor one day, all that kind of stuff. So, like, it's really hard when you really want to care for everybody and you want to be involved with everybody. You want to walk with everybody, but sometimes some people are not healthy. They're not good for you. So,
yeah, man. I think we've kind of been, like, talking about a lot of good things, a lot of great things. But one thing I think we've been, like, kind of focusing on is the context of that within, like, you know, guys being friends with guys and girls being friends with girls. So I think something that like, you know, I would love for us to address would be, like, how we are supposed to navigate like friendships with the opposite sex. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. This ain't no Bob Jones University. You know what I mean? You can't look at a girl. You can't talk to a girl. Like, I'm friends with... I have a girlfriend. Her name is Olivia Claire Dugan. She's beautiful.
Shout out. She's awesome.
She's an absolute wog.
Yeah, she is.
For those who don't know,
I was going to say that.
Yeah, that's a woman of God.
She's awesome. We love her.
And I still have friends that are females. Now, out of respect for Olivia, I don't hang out with them one-on-one. I don't be texting them. I don't be, yo, you want to go? Nah, I don't play that game. First of all, because I want to respect her. And second of all, because I know that I'm a guy. And guys can be stupid. Yeah. And, you know, I just don't think I want to roll the dice on that one. Yeah, you know what I mean? And also, I don't really desire to do that. And so, anyways... but I'm still able to have friendships with girls that I know, that I see around, that are involved in my kind of sphere of influence. Yeah. And we're able to, you know, like, those are my sisters in Christ. You know, they're not like, I'm not supposed to treat every woman like they're some kind of, like, prostitute. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's, like, this extreme that our culture has. It's like either like, oh yeah, like, I only hang out with guys because they're no drama, or like the the guys that are saying like, you know, like, oh bro, I just be hanging out with girls because like, you know, they fine, you know what I mean? Like, I just, and there's just it's either it's either like the pick me or the womanizer, you know what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
And I think there's like this beautiful balance that we can find.
Yeah.
Whether you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or not, like whatever, like, you know, whoever's listening to this.
Yeah.
I think like we can really find a great balance. So, Luan, what do you have to like specifically, anything that comes to mind on that?
That's good. First of all, let's say it's okay for you to have friends from the opposite sex. First of all, it's good. It's awesome. It's healthy. But a lot of times I feel like I'm very practical with certain things. But I think my approach to that is just like, don't be stupid.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
very straightforward, very simple. But like, dude, and I say this a lot. I say this with my CGLs, the guys that, you know, I walk alongside with here, and the people that have some kind of influence over here at the school. I'm like, dude, know your limits, know your weaknesses, know your strengths. Because like, dude, if you're just like, yeah, she's just my friend, but you know dang well that she's hot.
Yeah,
you know for a fact that you're attracted to her.
Come on, bro.
You see her and you're like, dang, that's a beautiful woman.
Let's talk about it, bro.
Right. If you see that, which is totally okay, first of all. It's okay. We're designed to have those feelings and thoughts.
Right.
Like if you see that and you're like, yeah, like she's so hot, but she's just my friend. I'm just gonna hang out with her. Bro, don't do it. Yeah. Especially if you have a girlfriend. Because like a lot of people think like, yeah, like I have a girlfriend, like I know, like I love her too much, I'm gonna respect her, like I'm never gonna cheat on her. But then you're still gonna see some girls and you're still gonna be hot.
Right.
Just because you have a girlfriend doesn't mean that any, like all the other girls around just stopped being hot.
Exactly, man.
Like it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. So like I say, like just be wise, just be smart enough that like, again, like I said before, like knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, that you won't make stupid decisions.
Right.
That you won't make like, you won't destroy your relationship just because you couldn't contain yourself. And like, I think it's something that has to be talked about. I feel like I said, I really appreciate like having friends from the opposite sex. Like
right.
You have female friends, I have female friends, and that's okay. But like you were saying, I'm not going to be hanging out with them at like 12 or like 1 a.m. or texting them, especially like during the unholy hours. Yeah, like I'm not going to do that.
Nothing good happens after 12.
Right. It's crazy. Like I can't do those things because like you said, I know that I'm a man. I know like my weaknesses. I know my struggles. And like, bro, let's be just fair. Like as a guy, especially like if you're a single guy or even if you're like not single, if you have a girlfriend, like, yo, if a hot girl just like slides into your DMs and just texts you and trying to have a conversation, bro, we like attention. Right. We like to feel like we're wanted and all that kind of stuff. And that's like I said, it's something that just happens naturally, but be smart. Right. Set up boundaries, dude. Like find people that you can like rely on. Like, yo, dude, that girl right there, like she'll destroy my life. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like find people that you're okay like saying those things.
Armor up, my boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like find a place that you're comfortable enough with your guys and like just like, dude, there's this girl like that I see every day, like when I go to the gym, like it's you know, it's messing me up, like, and don't go there anymore. Right. Maybe go at a different time. Right. Maybe, you know, don't use your phone late at night because you know they're gonna send risky texts and things are gonna get messed up. So like again, love your sisters in Christ, like love them, care for them, but like be wise and also like don't be too flirty, you know, like don't do those things because like it's just nasty, it's just bad. But again, I appreciate my female friends, they're great. I still love them the same way. I just like for the care that I have for them, and it's something that I really want to make sure that like everybody kind of has the same feel. Right. Is like they don't have to worry about me. Like they don't have to worry that I'm just hanging out with them because I see them as like as a body. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I say, just don't be stupid. Know your weaknesses and make the right decisions, man. Like pray up, you know. Like if you go to the gym every day and that's a struggle for you, pray. Or go at like 5 a.m, or I don't know, do something, man. Like something that, again, shouting you out, Zhane, because it's something that like really blew my mind. I remember starting of the semester, you had a stupid Android. And I hated it. Oh, yeah. Because, like, the first time that I texted you, I saw that green stupid bubble. I was like, there's no shot that this guy has an Android in 2023. Again, I'm not trying to like bash on my Android users, but like, dude, I was like, what in the world?
Right.
So I met him and I was like, all right, I did not expect this guy to have an Android. And then, you know, conversations and stuff.
Right.
Like, if it's too much for me to say it,
No,
like,
bro,
just
go
let me know.
ahead.
But like, the reason why he had an Android was for his own purity reasons.
Right.
And I was like, dang, that's crazy. So
and it was a specific. It wasn't just like some kind of Samsung, because Samsungs
right.
can do the same thing.
Right.
But it was a specific phone. It was a Samsung phone, but it was made. It was I guess modified by a specific company that specifically designs like their phones and stuff, so that it's basically meant for like a child-parent relationship. Like the parent can. Like really, they can control, bro. Like they can control whether you're allowed to text a certain phone number. They can allow.
Yeah. I think certain hours too, right?
Right. You can like only whitelist certain websites. You can be like, you know, if you only want to be able to go to like Nike.com, that's it. Have fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so basically, yeah, I just had that phone for like, for my faith and purity and just kind of like recognizing that like I wasn't in the best spot and you know what I mean? Like I wasn't gonna. Sure, yes, it's not easy. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. But I'm not going to let my faith and my God's plan for my life be completely altered because of it's more convenient for me. You know what I mean? Like, sure, iPhones are convenient and iPhones are great, but I'm not gonna do that for the sake of like, you know what I mean? I guess I'm not good with God anymore. Yeah. If that's what you need, like, then that's what you need, bro. If you need a flip phone, get a flip phone. Man. Anyways, I don't want to go off too much on a tangent because I do want to stay on this, you know, like I want to stay friends, like, stay on this topic of friends because man, like relationship, I could have.
Yeah. And that's exactly like where I wanted to go with that. Like the whole idea of friendship. So like, dude, be extreme if you have to. Right. Be extreme if you have to. That's where I wanted to get to. Like if you know that there are certain things that would lead you into committing some mistakes or committing certain sins, like do so. Especially in your friendships with like girls and stuff. Like if you know that like if you just hang out with them like later in the afternoon, like alone in the car, it's going to lead you to do certain things. Don't do it. Just don't. And that's where I wanted to do, again, just to commend you on that, dude, because that's freaking awesome. But just that for everybody that's kind of listening, like, dude, if you have to be extreme, do it. Like it's all the matters of like how much do you care about this? Right. Like, how much do you want to do this? How much do you want to carry out your faith? Yeah. How much do you want to be living a life set apart? Yeah. If it's something you really mean and something you really care for, something you're really passionate about, just having a flip phone won't be a big deal because you care about Jesus more. Right. So, yeah, that's my little spiel. That was freaking awesome. Yeah, man. Stuff, and
as far as, like, friendships go and stuff, like I said, I don't want to go because, I mean, I love to talk about relationships and stuff so much, so I want to keep it on the topic of friends. But here's the thing, man. I don't believe that guys and girls should be close friends in the sense of like, what am I doing today? Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with this one. Now here's the thing, bro. If you're interested in a girl and that's somebody that you're interested in, and you want to like ask her out and you want to get to know her better, go ahead, do your thing. But I don't believe that guys and girls that are like just friends should be hanging out very consistently because somebody's heart is always going to be going a certain way, man.
Yeah. Again, it's just natural.
Exactly, and that's the way that God made us to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're supposed to desire relationships and intimacy. That's just like how we are. And so, like Luan was saying, like, man, like there's certain girls that I know like that. You know, we're not necessarily, like, close friends, but, like, we know each other and we're cool with each other. And, like, there's girls that are, like, absolutely, like, gorgeous. You know what I mean? And I'm not stupid. I'm like, oh, no, bro, I got a girlfriend, so I can't see the other one. Like, I recognize when a girl is beautiful. Right. And with that, I'm like, okay, here's the thing. She's cool. She's awesome. Maybe I shouldn't, like, be hanging out with her. Maybe I shouldn't go up and talk to her because I know that naturally my heart is going to be going a certain way. So to honor God and to honor that sister in Christ and to honor my girlfriend, I'm not going to do that.
Come on, yeah.
Like I'm not, for what? Like if you do that, like what am I losing from that? You know what I mean? Like I already have everything I need. So why am I going to like, you know what I mean, man?
Talk about it.
And so, yeah, man, I think that like it's great for us to be, you know, I guess cohabitate. I don't know the word. that sounds stupid. Like
I guess just live life.
Sounds like animals. But yeah, man, I say this because I come from a place, man. Like, oh, man, my first semester in college, I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design. You're allowed to room, like, with the other sex.
That's wild.
And man, I'm saying this, I'm not just because I'm some like kind of psycho that hates guys and girls talking to each other, but because I see where that leads.
Come on.
I remember at my dorm at SCAD, like first day we moved in, these girls walk down the hall, we get a knock. And we look through I peep through the door. First of all, I am on FaceTime with my girlfriend. So this did not help my case. Okay? I open the door and they're like, "Hey." It's like 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, oh my Lord. I'm like putting the phone behind the door. I'm like, Olivia, please don't kill me. And they're like, hey, like, what are your guys' names? We're just like introducing ourselves to people. That was the only door they went to. They did not go to everybody, man. They were on a mission. And man, like whatever. I was like, oh, hey, I'm Zhane. And I kind of like let my boys take care of it, whatever. And they started to hang out with them, right?
Oh, dang.
And they were cool because like, I mean, whatever. They were cool and it was whatever. My friend ended up having sex. We're talking real, man. I don't care about whatever. Right. This is real talk, bro. My friend ended up having sex with 2 of them because it was just like out of just this. At first, it was just like, oh yeah, like let's just be friends and like chill out, whatever. And hear me out. None of them were Christians, okay?
Yep.
So it was different, and I can understand that because they don't believe in the same things that I believe. But that's just to show that a simple can lead to a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, I mean, this is a very good, like, you know, I guess, metaphor, I guess. But, like, when sin comes knocking, like, at your door like that, bro, you have to be like, I peep through that hole. I'm like, I'm gonna let my boys take this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, man, like, we're not as strong as we think, man. Yeah. We are not as strong as we think. Like, how many pastors do you know that have fallen into scandals?
Yeah.
Like, there were thousands of people at these big churches that look up to these pastors, and they fall into scandals with women because of what? Because they started as their secretary or something, and then they ended up just, let's have a discussion over dinner or a business meeting or business meeting, whatever. And then, anyways, man, so God made us for relationships. But you need to discern, and you need to use your brain. And don't be stupid, especially my men. Don't be stupid. And to the girls, recognize that guys think this way, and try to do your best to understand that maybe I should know where his heart is at before I start hanging out. Like, why am I hanging out with him? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if the answer isn't to either I want to get to know this girl better so I can date her. I mean, really, if it's not that, or if it's like for the sake of, you know, something you have to do. Like, for instance, I'm an RA here on campus, whatever, and I have like sister RAs. So the girls at the other dorm that are in charge of that building, like, I have a relationship with them because that's just part of my job.
Right.
And like, duh, like, we need to have meetings. We need to know what's going on. But I'm not just like, hey, yo, whatever. Let's go to, you know, let's have a meal together and let's just like talk about how our halls are going. No.
Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen.
And that's the thing. And the other thing I want to say is like,
that's sorry. That just reminded me of that video, Kim Kardashian and Kanye. They, like, he's like, where? Kim is like,
yeah, me and Kanye are here at our new house, and he's like, Kanye's refusing to step into the dirt with his new 350 Boost.
And he like, ain't gonna happen.
See, that's good. So every time that you think about something like that, just remember. Yeah. And just like Zhane was saying, like, use your brain, use like discernment, and use your freaking mouth.
Yeah,
what I mean by that is like talk to people,
communicate,
talk to people. Like, dude, like I said, like, I really value that. Like, find people that you can just like talk about. Like,
right.
Again, it's weird to say this all the time, but like, dude, it's just reality for us. Like, dude, the amount of times Zhane and I are just walking and something happens, like, bro, this thing is happening right now.
The devil is a lie. Yeah. That's my favorite line, man.
Yeah, and it was just like, all right, let's dip. We just bounce.
Especially on these 81-degree days, man. The devil is a lie.
So yeah, like I'm saying, like, use your mouth, man. Like, find people that you can trust. Like, find people that you know that if you say those things, they're not just gonna use it against you. They're not gonna condemn you. But yeah, just find people that you can trust and talk about it.
Right.
Because we walk better together, and it's just what it is.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
So we're kind of getting closer to the end here. So just kind of two more little things we just want to talk about before we wrap up. First, man. So we've talked about, like, you know, when we have friends that are good and friends that are bad and influence and all that kind of stuff. But what happens when we have friends that were on that same path as us, but for some reason they start going the other way and they start following the opposite direction, and they're just not living a life that's honorable to God anymore. And so we have to come to a point where we have to cut that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can care for them, we can love them, say, hey, listen, if you want to hang out with me, I can do that, but we can't be hanging out regularly anymore. Like, unless you're changing, like God has called us. Like, you cannot stay the same way you are, and we are not to be unequally yoked. And if we are okay, let me just a yoke is, so in the olden days, like in farming and stuff, they would have these, imagine like a big wooden collar, right, that you would put around like these whatever animal it is, like an oxen or whatever it is, and you would have two of them, so there would be two of them next to each other, right? So if we're unequally yoked, like if one of the ox that is connected to this other ox, like on this two like wooden kind of collar almost thing, and one of them is going to the left and one of them is going to the right, where are they going?
Yeah.
Nowhere. And here's the thing, let's say that one of the ox is trying to go straight, they're trying to do their job, but the other person is turning right, and you're like, what are you doing? You're taking me off course here, man. Like, get back. You can't do that. Like, they're going to pull you off course, and you're going to get exhausted, and it's going to make you fall. Yep. So, Luan, take it away. What do you guys say, man?
Yeah, man. So, like, that's hard. Like, I think it comes with, like, discernment, first of all. Like we were talking about before, like, if you think you do have some kind of influence over their lives, if, like, they're receptive to it, like, if you can come up to them, like, yo, dude, like, this is what's happening, whatever. Like, talk about it. Address it. I think it's important. But, like, if you know for a fact that those people, they will not listen to you. They don't really care about the same things that you do. Right. They don't care about the same faith that you do. And, like, they're just not healthy. Like, they just don't help you. They're just slowing you down. They're taking you off, like, course or whatever. Like, as crazy as it sounds, because, again, like, there's grace, there's mercy, and I mentioned this before, like, just cut them off.
Right.
Like, if you know that those people are not good for you, if you know that those people are just harming you, cut them off. Like I said,
it's not easy, but it sure is simple.
It's not easy. And like I said, you can love them. It doesn't mean that you have to, like, just like, yeah, I don't care about you anymore. Like, you know, frick you, I'm out. Like, just dip, whatever. Like, I don't mean that. I just mean as in, like, first of all, like, be mature enough to voice it out. Don't just ghost people. Mm-hmm. I think that's very immature and, like, unhealthy. It's very, like, bad. So I go up to them and just be like, yo, dude, like, I love you. Yeah. If it's a guy, like, dude, I love you. I care so much about you. I really appreciate your friendship, but at the same time, like, the way that you're living your life is very opposite to how I want to live mine. Yeah. And you're harming my own walk with the Lord. And like I said before, like, how much do you care about this, dude? Like, how much do you care about your walk with God? How much do you care about living a holy life, a life that's set apart? Like, how much do you care about this? Because, like, if it's something that you really care about, I think it's important for you to consider, like, cutting those people off. I think it's important for you to consider that some people should not be involved in your life as much as they are. Some people should not have the amount of influence that you give them. Right. Because that's the thing. Like, people can only have influence over your life if you give it to them. Right. That could be both ways, like, both good and bad. So that's how I see it. Like, have a conversation first. Also pray about it. It's a big one. Pray about it. Just ask the Lord if, like, that's something that he wants for you to do. Right. Like, if that's somebody that he wants you to be invested in, then so be it. Yeah. Do it. And again, just be careful with your heart. Like, protect your heart. Pray about it. Like I said, pray for yourself. I mean, as like, pray for God to keep you strong, I would say. Yeah. For you not to be affected by, you know, the things that these people are doing, because obviously, like, we love them, we care for them, we want the best for them. But, like, if it's getting to a point that there's no way, like, just be careful. Take a step back and do what's best for you. As crazy as that sounds, but yeah, do what's best for you. Like, value your relationship with God more than your relationship with others. I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, man, that's good. Kind of the second, it definitely, like, relates to it, but the last thing I kind of want to mention was just, like, sometimes being a good friend means saying things that they're not going to like.
Yeah.
Like calling them out on their crap.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Luan catches me and he, if he catches me like talking to a girl in a certain way, right? And he sees me around campus doing something stupid, or he sees that I'm constantly like cheating on stuff, or this like bro, you're being stupid right now.
Yeah.
You need to fix this.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like some people may be like, man, like what's wrong with you, man? Like I'm just, I'm just trying to live my life or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta love people enough to like tell them that they gotta fix themselves.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't close off a relationship, and even when you cut off a relationship, that doesn't close it
Yeah.
off. It gives them the opportunity to come back. But the most important part about what you're doing is you're showing them that, hey, I love you enough to tell you that you need to fix this right now.
Come on.
And once you did, you're welcome back. Let's go. Like, I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
But I can't keep dealing with somebody that doesn't want to change.
That's so good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. Proverbs 12.
Come on.
I love this verse. It's so cool. It says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like, and I think it's just what it is. Like, if you're not able to take correction lightly, when it comes from a place of love, obviously. I don't mean as just like people just bashing you or whatever. But like, if your friends can't come up to you and correct you, you gotta check your own heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's either pride or pride. That's
like
pretty much,
if they
that's
come
what
up
it
to
is.
you and you just don't want to take
Yes,
it. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
It's just pride.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Because like, if you can't take it lightly, like, obviously there's a way of saying it, but like, if you really know your friend, if you know their heart, and that like they care about you and they come correcting you, like I said, if you don't take it, like Proverbs says,
Right.
that's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's important for us to have those people in our lives. And if it's on the other way, if you're the person that has to call people out, do it.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times that that kind of stuff happens. We're like, oh no, like I love them too much. I don't want to like embarrass them. I don't want to hurt them or whatever. I think you're hurting them more by letting them keep on doing the things that they're doing. I think you're hurting them more by not calling them out. I think you're hurting them more by not like instructing them on ways that are actually beneficial.
No doubt.
So that's how I see it, man. I think it's important for us to have people like that in our lives. And also, like I mentioned this a lot, having older people in your own personal life, in your own personal walk with the Lord, that are able to do that. People that have lived more than you, people that have more experiences than you, people that have gone through the same things that you're going through, but they already overcame it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal. Because a lot of times I think we look for help from people that are going through the same things that you're going through. Though that's good, can be beneficial, can be encouraging. But at the same time, they haven't gone through it fully. They haven't overcome it. They haven't seen the other side of the mountain.
Right.
You're still going through it. So I think that's good too. Like, finding other people they can just talk to. Like, hey, dude, I'm going through this. People that are going to be like, hey, I know what that feels like. I went through that, and this is what I did, and this is what happened. This is where I'm at now. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it is for sure so important to just reach out to those people and have somebody that you can look up to, and that's going to lead you in that right direction where you ultimately want to go, you know? But, yeah, man, that is good stuff. But I think it's about time to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. We hope that this was beneficial to you, and we hope that you guys definitely got something out of it. I know that Luan and I definitely enjoyed talking with y'all today. And we just encourage you guys to stay tuned, subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Set Apart Podcast, or Set Apart Pod on YouTube. And then Instagram is the setaPart.podcast. And then you can find us on Spotify also at Set Apart Podcast. So yeah, we just thank you guys so much. We encourage you to fill out the Google form in our link tree if you're interested in being on the podcast, and maybe you can have the chance to be on here. We would love to have you guys on. We appreciate your support so much. We hope that you guys have an amazing day, and we will see you on the next episode of Set Apart.